Hey guys, I wanted to talk to you today about some additional HTML formatting. So we need to learn that HTML is actually a markup language. It is not what we call a WYSIWYG type of editor. WYSIWYG comes from this acronym. What you see is what you get. That's what WYSIWYG stands for. So we're not dealing with a WYSIWYG formatter, kind of something like Microsoft Word, where when you type something up and you make it look the way you want it to look, and it will print out exactly how you have it on the screen. So we're not dealing with that. Instead, we're dealing with a markup language. That's what the ML in HTML stands for, is markup. So we're going to first talk about line breaks. So if I wanted to make a paragraph like this, this is a paragraph with a lot of line breaks. And I've got my endp tag. If I save this and refresh it up here, I get everything on one line. I don't want it on one line though. So how do I get it to display across these 4 lines like I typed it? Well, one of the ways that you could do that is with the BR tag. The BR tag is a little bit different than ones that you're used to right now, because all of the tags that you've learned so far, like the P tag, have an opening tag and a closing tag. The BR tag does not have a closing tag. So this is how it looks. So I put a BR wherever I want that line break to happen. And now when I save this and I refresh it, it goes across all 4 of those lines. So that BR stands for line break. Let's go back to my code. Here's something interesting about markup language too, is you don't even need to make the attempt to make it look like what you want it to appear on the web page. So I'm making this all on one line. Oops. And now I'm going to save this and refresh it, and there's going to be absolutely no change. Everything looks exactly like it did when I had this in my code across 4 lines, and now it's going to look identical even though it's on one single line of code. Another big thing when it comes to formatting a web page and web design is color. Color is extremely important. So one thing that we need to deal with is, let's say, the background color. So I've got my body tag. Now keep in mind, the body tag is everything inside of this window here. Everything above this, that is what we call the header. Not the header. That's what we call the title. The head, yeah, it's not a header, but it's the head, it's the title. Below that is the body. So what we're going to edit is the body. I want to put in a background color. So I'm going to put in style equals background color. And I need a dash between background and color is pink. So if I save that and refresh it, I get a background color. Now notice that all I did was I edited the tag that I already had here. I had the body tag there, and between the body and the closing angle bracket, I just put in style equals background color pink with those extra things there. I did not need to edit the ending body tag at all. Let's change the text color. Let's say I want the text color to be red. So I'm going to say style equals color colon red. So I'll save this, refresh it, and find, oh look, that's a red color. Excellent. Now I can also put in a header. So I'll have H1, and I'm going to edit it right away. Style equals color colon white angle bracket. And I'm going to say this is a header. End H1. And I will see that I now have a white header. Now, let's say you don't know what color you want to choose. There's a great resource called W3 Schools. And W3 Schools, it's w3schools.com, and it's got all sorts of references for HTML. So right here on the home page, I'm going to click the HTML reference. On the side over here, you'll see that there are tons and tons and tons of HTML tags. And you can search and research the different types of HTML tags, and that will help you if you need something that I'm not going to cover. So here's a UL tag for an unordered list. There's lots of stuff. But what we're concerned with right now is color. So on the right-hand side here, there's a color picker. So I want to change the colors around. So here's a nice shade of blue. And I can't just pick blue because if I go here and I type in background color blue, well, what shade of blue is that going to be? That's not the same shade of blue as I've got here. So what am I going to do about that? So at the color picker, I can select this here. This hexadecimal code tells the computer what color exactly it is that you want to use. So I go back here, and instead of blue, I'm going to paste all that stuff in with that hashtag there, and I'm going to save it, and I'm going to see that the background color is now that nice dark blue. And I can do that with any of these colors here. So I want a red, but I want kind of more rust-colored red. So I want that CC3300. So I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to go back to my code, and instead of color equals red, I'm going to replace it with that. So I'll save that, and I'll see that the red color changed. Cool, huh? Another thing that you can change is the font. So one thing that's tricky about changing the font is that you need to make sure that the font you want is installed on the computer. So I was trying this, and I noticed that the fonts that I was choosing were not installed on the computer. And if I had this on another computer, it would have displayed those fonts, one that had those fonts installed. But on this computer, it didn't have those fonts installed, therefore I wasn't able to view it. So it went back to the default font, which was probably Arial or something like that. So if I want to make a new paragraph with a new font, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put the P there, and I will put style equals, and instead of color, I'll just type in font dash family. And this one I'm going to use the font Roboto, R-O-B-O-T-O. And I will say this is Roboto font, end P. When I save this and refresh it, there it is. You can see that this is a different font than what's above. The only problem is that this is a little too dark. So how am I going to change the color and the font at the same time? Well, it's actually pretty easy. So what I do is I make a semicolon. So I've got that semicolon there, and I'll just do color, colon. I'll make this white as well. Save it. And there we've got a white colored paragraph. Let's say I wanted to change this as well. And it doesn't matter the order that things are in. So I already have this color there, but now I want to change the font. I'll put the semicolon there, and I'll say font family, colon, let's say free mono. So that's a weird looking font. And there it is. I've got two different paragraphs in two different colors and in two different fonts. All right, so what you're going to do now is with that web page that you made yesterday, you're going to change the background color. You're going to use two different text colors for your two different paragraphs and two different fonts for your two different paragraphs. And you're also, lastly, going to make sure to change the color of your headings. Alrighty, enjoy.